But I'm just going to be talking to you guys about elevator pitches, especially in today's virtual age. We're going to be looking at how you can stand out in making an elevator pitch, especially on Brazen. So we touched about it earlier, and Miriam talked about it, but you really want to make sure that you're doing your homework. So you want to go to this page on our website. The link is in the right-hand corner, and you want to put in all of your information. And that list on the side is going to get smaller, and it's going to tell you companies that are looking for students exactly like you. And you're going to want to make sure that you put in the days you can attend, and then you're going to click on those companies and you're going to start doing your in-depth research. So earlier it asked like how many companies I should look up, how many I should talk to. I would start with that list and see, okay, maybe there's 20 companies there that I match up with. Let's see that maybe I really sort of vibe towards 10 of them, and then specify 5 that you really like. So what you want to start with is their background. So what have they worked on? What are they working now? And their different sort of like management positions, their different maybe sources of retail, anything like that. But another specific thing that can make you stand out is looking at the culture of the company. So going on these websites and looking if they have these links like pictured here, their Facebook, their Twitter, their LinkedIn, or any other social medias, it can show you what they're doing outside of work hours sometimes. So maybe they're a really social or community service-based company. That can really make you stand out if you go up and you talk to them about some service you've done, or maybe some projects that they've been involved in, because you could catch the right recruiter that is directly involved with one of those service events and really make yourself stand out in their eyes, because they want to talk to you more about those types of things rather than manufacturing processes lines. Another type of thing that you can really hone in on is looking at those locations and available jobs. So MassFly can really help with that. It's looking at specific positions that are available to you that you can tailor yourself for. And like Tony was talking about, making your resume sort of stand out in specific areas for different jobs. So you want to be able to walk up to a recruiter and say, hi, I'm interested in your manufacturing management position in Pennsylvania, or your facilities position in Virginia. You want to be able to say exactly where you're interested in, and it'll again show the recruiter that you're looking for something specific and you've done your research. So after you've done your research, you want to make sure that you're ready to build your speech. So when you're building that speech, you want to make sure that you're first looking at your highlights. So Tony kind of talked about that. If you don't have something desirable to share, don't share it. So if you don't have the strongest GPA, if you aren't in a ton of leadership roles, if you haven't had any experience yet, maybe you're a freshman, you're worried about that type of things, you need to show the things that you are super proud of, the things that you're really confident in and you know that you'll be able to talk about. So that's those leadership roles. Maybe that is something that you're the president of, you're the treasurer on an executive board, you do have that super strong GPA, or you're in a lot of classes that you're super proud of. Maybe they're looking for sophomores, but you've taken some of those junior level classes and you're able to offer a little bit more. And you've looked at those specific positions and you're interested in a facilities job. Say that you have relevant experience in a specific facilities management position, maybe during a paper, group project, anything like that. You want to be able to note those so that you can kind of meander those into your speech, which is the next part of connections. So this is where you use the research that you did, but you naturally place it into the conversation that you're having, because that's what you are having. You wanting to say something and have them respond back. So you want to be able to say, I was looking at your positions and I saw that you had a facilities management job in Virginia. I actually worked on a paper recently about XYZ, and it was really interesting because XYZ, and you're just placing yourself in there. Or your connection could be, I was looking on your social media and I saw that you guys had a hiking club. I go hiking almost every other weekend, and I saw that that was really interesting, because the whole point of making a connection with a recruiter is that you aren't a student standing or sitting in front of them on their computer. They're picturing you in their workplace, next to them, in their teams, working alongside them, and not just someone outside of the company, but really finding a way to get yourself in there and in their eyes, in their company. So the next part of that is the attitude that you display when you're going about this. So like I said, you want to talk about things that you're confident in yourself. You might be timid, you might be nervous about this process, especially with it being online. And like Miriam said, you do want to kind of get those jitters out with those first elevator pitches with other companies. But the biggest thing is you want to talk about information that you're confident on. If you are talking about it, that is going to spill into the interview itself, because you're going to have things that you want to share, not just things that you're kind of scared of. So that GPA, if you know you're excluding it, it's going to make you feel 100 times better than having to get past that in that conversation. So another really important thing is being engaged and responsive, not only when you're talking, but when they're talking most especially. So when you're done with your elevator pitch and they're responding to you, you want to be able to actually respond to what they're saying and not just talk more about yourself. If they're asking you a specific question, it's to answer the specific question. Like they do these all day, and if they're asking you a question, it's because they want you to answer it, and it's because they want a direct answer. So you want to make sure you're staying engaged and really responsive. And the last part, let's say you did a great elevator pitch, you had a great conversation with them, but they answered all your questions about maybe their manufacturing processes line or that specific job that you were going for. This is the time where you could bring up those other questions such as culture. So maybe they don't have any social media. You could say, oh, I was wondering if you could tell me like about your social atmosphere at your job. Do you guys do anything outside of work? Do you have any like clubs or meetups for any like hiking or anything outside? Maybe they have days that they bring in food, anything that, again, that can put you into their eyes, into the workplace. Again, with assessment, you can ask, so if I do get this co-op, when am I assessed? Do I have a bi-weekly meeting with the supervisor? Do I have a monthly presentation to a board of whoever? That kind of, again, gets you into the mindset of you actually getting the job and also them. So they're thinking about you being in that workplace and you being assessed. Or if it comes down to it, they are an employee and they're also a person, ask them what some of their ongoing projects are. So say, what are you working on right now? What about it do you enjoy? Or maybe what were you working on that has kept you with the company for so long? So kind of putting that all together, you want to make sure that you kind of list these out. It depends on how you are as a person. Like I would do bullet points and then kind of just weave them all together. But you want to practice this in front of a mirror, in front of a friend. You can record yourself and watch it back. That can be really helpful. But when it comes down to it, it's going to be something like, hi, my name is Molly Zuidema. I'm a junior in Industrial and Systems Engineering at Virginia Tech. I work with the SEC as the Awards and Scholarships Chair. I do XYZ. I also work with the YMCA. I'm the president there, XYZ. I also have been the team leader on a number of projects in Industrial and Systems Engineering, specifically in manufacturing processes, XYZ. And then something about, I'm really interested in your manufacturing processes role in Virginia. And I actually noticed that at your branch, you guys have a really active cooking club. I love cooking, I always have. And I think that's something really important to connect with my coworkers. And then that's gonna branch into either a conversation about something personal, or they're gonna find something that you just said and they're gonna latch onto that. Rather than you just saying it to them and then them having to come up with something, you've just given them 3 to 5 things that they can just immediately grab onto and start talking about. Now, going into navigating online recruitment, some things are different. You aren't walking around in the big room. You're not waiting in lines physically, but as Miriam said, you're putting yourself in those queues and you're kind of looking around for what you really can look for. So the biggest thing is how you're going to look on the video chat if you have it. So your appearance still needs to be really strong. You still need to be dressing for success. And please note, you do need to wear professional from top to bottom. You do need to wear pants at all. And you do need to wear pants that aren't sweatpants, that aren't biker shorts, that aren't Nike shorts. You need to wear your slacks, you need to wear your skirt, your dresses, anything like that, because there are instances from my peers I've heard that they have asked people to stand up during interviews to make sure that they are dressed properly, because in their minds, if you can't dress properly, then you don't have enough interest to even get dressed. Then why are you gonna have enough interest to be working for the company? Stuff like that. So just please wear pants. Additionally, your posture, your lighting, and your background. Miriam talks about kind of like a blank canvas background or something that's just neat and tidy. If you need to do it in a space outside of your dorm room, outside of your apartment, you just need to go somewhere where you have good lighting, where people can see your face. Miriam also noted about how you want to check your devices. That's a really big part of it. You want to make sure that your audio and your video are working and have as strong of a connection as you possibly can. We know that that might run into issues, but you just want to make sure that your roommate isn't walking around in the background, changing or, getting back from class. You want to make sure that your roommates aren't cooking dinner in the background or screaming. You just want to make sure you look professional as you can, make sure your posture is great, and make sure that you look as ready as you can be in these kind of different circumstances that we're not used to. And lastly, after that pitch, after that conversation, you do want to be direct. You want to ask for an email. You want to ask for a number, some way to talk to them. If they do start talking to you about an interview, great. Also be direct with that. Ask them about times, ask them about processes. Again, they are doing this maybe hundreds of times that day. You want to make sure that you have all the information, because even if the conversation went 100% correct, they still have the chance of forgetting that it even happened. So you want to be able to reach out to them. You want to make sure that they remember you. And if they do tell you to apply online, I know that that has kind of a stigma of being bad. It is not always a bad thing. Even if they are doing all suggested or like by resume recruiting, they could still be collecting online information if they're not collecting it through Brazen. So make sure that if you are applying online, use Mass Apply, do it ahead of time. Even if you do it ahead of time, you can say, I've already applied online, and make sure that they do. Make sure you know that you did it, and because they can always put a star on your resume and look you up later. That's all I have for now, but if you'd like to come practice an elevator pitch or have any questions, I will put a Zoom link in the chat for you guys, and I will be able to help you out later.